The next story, Justine, about the Titanic situation and the sub that was lost, and the five people who lost their lives aboard that vessel. Now, I just want to mention that we have faced criticism in the show. I mean, all media are facing criticism
Yeah.
for focusing on this tragedy too much. We're talking about some wealthy people in a small sub, et cetera, et cetera. I get that. There is a migrant crisis going on worldwide. It's worth mentioning. And this week, there was a tragedy on a migrant boat between Morocco and Spain that killed over 30 people. So that crisis continues. I talk about it often when the topic comes up on the air. We spoke about it yesterday with David Hertel. With Elias Mako. Sorry.
Hmm.
And my point is that especially when we put up signs at Roxham Road and pretend the problem doesn't exist and have an increasing number of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of even of potentially people that are undocumented working and trying to survive in this country, we're headed towards a serious problem. So the migrant crisis worldwide exists, but also that doesn't preclude us from talking about what is an interesting and exceptional story here with this Titanic situation. I just wanted to get that disclaimer off my chest right away, because I get it. I get the criticism that we're not focusing on real human tragedies or wide scale human tragedies, but we try. We really do try. And I wanted to catch up with Alan Hustak, familiar to our audience here at CJAD, former Gazette columnist. He was with CTV News as well, and he wrote a book on the Titanic, actually, from the Canadian perspective. He was close friends with Paul-Henry Nargeolet, who was aboard the missing sub. Mr. Nargeolet was a French man who was on the team that discovered the Titanic wreckage and went down many times to see the wreckage. And here's my chat earlier today with Alan Hustak on his friend who passed away on an adventure. Alan, nice to talk to you again. I wish I was under better circumstances.
Always good to talk to you.
You were friends with one of the men on board, the explorer Paul-Henry Nargeolet, who was part of the team that actually discovered the Titanic wreckage. And my condolences. What are your thoughts on what happened and on the man?
While I am saddened, there's something comforting to know that Paul Henri is with the ship he loved. He was an oceanographer, a man who loved the sea. He was at home at the sea, and the sea was his passion. I, of course, I'm saddened, but if you have to go, I think Paul would be comforted to know that he is with the ship he loved. He made 38 or 39 dives to Titanic.
You wrote a book on the subject, on Titanic. Can you tell me about the fascination with this particular ship and why people are willing to risk so much to see it?
Well, yeah, I met Paul doing research for the book. Titanic is, I always say it's kind of a history meets mystery, and people have been fascinated with it since the day she sank. I mean, what you do is you load a ship with multimillionaires on her maiden voyage, declare it to be practically unsinkable, and it sinks. That kind of legend, that kind of myth, has persisted for 120 some years. And the other thing is, it's now part of pop culture. There have been five Titanic movies made, and with Cameron sort of made it the icon of, I call them Titanic. It's like Star Trekkies. These are Titanic Trekkies.
What about the vessel itself? There are a lot of people coming out now and saying, well, it could have been unsafe. Was this sort of a foolhardy endeavor?
Well, Paul had always told me that he was aware of the risk. As I think I mentioned, he's made more, I would say it's close to 40 dives. And I know nothing about the Not Heel. I do know that Paul he was a sailor who was with the French Navy, and then he joined the French group, the French Research Institute that actually found Titanic. He'd often talked about the fact that it was a risk. He was an adventurer. My understanding is that the Nautilus was, it was aging. I know nothing about the vessel itself, other than it was very old. I am told that the evidence is that obviously it didn't run out of oxygen. It exploded or imploded under the pressure 4 miles down.
Tell me about the curiosity about sort of visiting the wreckage. There was a whole industry around visiting the Titanic site. Why do people do it?
Oh, why do people climb Mount Everest? I mean, Paul-Henry was an adventurer. He was romantic. He lived for this ship. On one occasion, he had actually invited me to go down with him if there was a spare room on the or spare seat. And had the opportunity ever arisen, I would have jumped at it. I would have jumped at it. But why? Because it's there.
Interesting. So I guess perhaps not after today, but you would have descended yourself.
Oh, I would. I mean, 12 years ago, if that opportunity had arisen when we were filming together in Halifax, I would have gone. Sure. I mean, what a way to go.
Tell me about the process writing the book. Did you coincide it to come out with the Titanic movie?
No, the book didn't come out till a Cameron film. I spent about 20 years researching it, and I'd always planned to have it come out in 2012. And then Cameron's film came out, and my publisher said, "No, you can't wait till 2012. You got to put it out now." We did that. I'd worked with Paul-Henry on exhibitions in Toronto, Montreal, Halifax. He was just a great man of rakish Gallic charm. A very shy guy, but just so very charming. The minute he walked into a room, he was one of those people that you just gravitated to because he was so unassuming. He was so gregarious, and yet kind of and when you got to know him, that's when this rakish charm. We killed many bottles of wine together.
Sounds like he told some interesting stories. I'm wondering sort of about his character and about death, Alan. I want to ask you about death because you happen to be also one of Canada's most experienced obituary writers, and I'm wondering, is the daughter of Paul-Henry said the same thing that you're saying to media the other day. She said that, well, it's somewhat comforting that he died doing what he loved doing. Is that easier on the families who pass these situations?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I let me tell you, for the last 3 days, I have had sleepless nights, imagining what it would be like to be in a little vessel like that with 4 other people, knowing that you're running out of air, you have no food, you have no way of doing bodily functions. And I had been thinking of Paul in that situation, slowly suffocating to death. And as I said at the beginning of this interview, there's absolutely something comforting to know that this man died doing what he wanted to do. If the Nautilus had exploded or fallen apart under pressure, he would be dead in an instant. And look, if you've got to die, it's the old, you got to die quickly and painlessly. And while there may have been a few moments of panic, I certainly am comforted by the fact that he didn't waste away in that claustrophobic atmosphere.
Alan Hustak, the book is Titanic, the Canadian Story. If you'd like to learn more about the tragedy. Alan, thanks very much for joining us. And again, next time under better circumstances.
It is always my pleasure to talk to you, Dan.
There you go. That was our chat with Alan Hustak, former Gazette reporter, and he wrote the book on Canada's historical perspective on the Titanic. He said, as you heard, Justine, he would have gone down before this tragedy. He was offered to go down in that sub.
Well,
and he would have taken it.
Well, I think that this is probably the end of Titan expeditions rather, to see the Titanic for some time, probably the end of that company.
I would assume so.